What is going on, guys? So today I want to talk about how I almost made $20,000 in 1 hour, basically just flipping my C8 Corvettes. So this story actually goes back all the way to December 15th, 2021, where I actually ended up purchasing both of them. So I ended up putting a $3,000 deposit down for each one. I got the at the time I got the 2022 model. Price was $81,145, and I put a 3,000 deposit down on each of them, which means it was a total of $6,000. Now they were supposed to arrive in June, but obviously, as you guys know by the date of this video, that did not happen. So that would have been perfect if they came in June. That was the peak for the car market, to be honest. And I could have sold each one for around 120,000 the same day, which means I would have made $60,000 profit. I did not end up doing that, but profit's profit, so I'm not gonna nag. However, end of June, they ended up contacting me saying, hey, they're done making 2022 models, they're making the 2023 models. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. Now, basically, my price was supposed to be set in, right? It wasn't gonna like go up or down really that much. So basically, price was locked in $81,145 for the 2023 model. And literally same exact thing. I got the same package, everything. Like nothing was added onto the car. Just wanted the base because I never wanted to drive it for personal reasons. I just don't like the car. So then I ended up, getting a call. It was supposed to then come in August to October. Nothing happened. I'm like, okay, November 2nd, I'm leaving for Europe for about 2.5 months. Like, what am I going to do, right? So I ended up talking to a buddy of mine. I'm like, yo, I give you rights. I'll sign the paperwork. In worst case, you pick it up. He's like, sounds like a plan. So I go, like, nothing. November, nothing. December, nothing. Literally, I get a call 2nd of January saying, hey, by the way, one of the cars is already on the way, should arrive tomorrow. I'm like, I'm not back in town for another week. Crap, okay, right? I already set this up. I'm like, send me the paperwork, I'll sign it, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Have the check. So I ended up mailing it. Worked perfectly fine, right? And I ended up being able to put 5,000 on the credit card for that one, which again, it was nice because I already put 6,000 deposit on the credit card. So I wasn't really allowed to do that, but I ended up doing it because paying cash, they don't care too much in that sense. So that was the first one. Literally land, and then I check my text and I check my voicemail, and it's like, hey, by the way, the next call is coming in 2 days. I landed on a Tuesday. It's like, yeah, it'll arrive Thursday. I'm like, okay, great. So the second call's in, boom, let's do this then. Same thing. Ended up going to the dealership, ended up picking it up and paying cash for it. Same thing, 5,000 credit card, the rest in check, right? Here's the thing, couple things that ended up bothering me. The total cost for the car with tax was $87,000. However, that was $1,100 more than it should have been because, again, I was actually locked in for the $81,145. And instead, the dealership ended up tacking on the new MSRP for the 2023 model, which was $84,454. So it was $3,400 more basically. Now, however, they did put a $2,000 $300 rebate because they did say they were going to adhere to the original price. However, $1,100 was still missing, and they're like, that's the best we can do, which kind of pissed me off because, again, $1,100, I was locked in for the original price. It's not my fault you guys couldn't manage your deliveries. It's not my fault. Chevy didn't make enough models. It's not my, it's not, none of it was in my control. If you guys say you're going to keep it to the original price, keep it to the freaking original price. So that ended up costing me $2,200 in profit that I could have had. However, with taxes and stuff, $87,800 was my walk out of the door times two. So basically, I almost needed $190,000. Granted, I did put $10,000 on my credit card and $6,000 prior. So I did end up having to pay only around $170,000 in cash, a little bit less. So again, not too bad. I still gotta pay off the credit card, so and then literally once I picked it up, I just drove it to another dealership, and I ended up getting $95,000. And then the other one ended up also getting the same $95,000, which basically means if you calculate that 87,000 and 87,000, I ended up making right around 16,000 since it was in the 87.8s, $15,000 profit. I'm still talking to the GM because of the Corvette dealership because again, I kind of want my $2,200. But theoretically, from the time I picked up the car, ended up driving it 45 minutes to the dealership, and then ended up just signing the paperwork over and being like, here, done, here's the key, here's the other key, enjoy the cars, guys, have fun. That was basically the whole story. Now, the thing about this is yes, if I did a private party deal, I could have ended up getting around 100 for the car. For 95, they're not going to list it for 95. I know this. It's the cheapest in the nation by around $4,000. Both of them are brand new. Both of them have 40 miles on it because it was literally driven from one dealership to the next. But here's the thing. I did not want to part from that money in my bank account for very long. The car market's starting to decrease. If we were in June, I wouldn't mind doing a private party deal. That was my original plan anyways. However, just because the market's starting to go down, these cars are more and more coming in. I talked to the dealership and they're like, yeah, in February, we're actually supposed to expect to get 19 Corvettes in this month. And I'm like, compared to the 4 that they got in January, compared to 19, that is a huge jump up, which just kind of made me iffy, and I just did not want to take that risk. So again, that's kind of the reasoning behind why I just did dealership to dealership. So yes, I could be like, I could have ended up getting another 10,000 on top. However, it was not worth the risk for me. I have other plans with the money. And again, so a couple of things obviously needed to be able to do this. One, you need around $170,000 cash to be able to do this, or you can finance. Finance was just too much of a hassle for me to do. 2, you need the patience. And 3, here was my risk. You gotta look at risk to reward ratio. So my risk was $6,000. Now, if you can also just do this with one car, should have meant 3,000. Because here's the thing, I never legally needed to pick it up. If after 1 week, I did not pick up the car, they could keep my deposit and it no longer belonged to me. So that's the thing. Or if I'm like, hey, you know what, I don't want it anymore, they just keep the $3,000 deposit. It's not refundable. But then I just don't get the car. So my biggest risk was $3,000. That was my thing. So only couple of things about it is the timing bothered me that it ended up coming in. However, I'm just happy it didn't end up coming in February or March, because then I would have made even less and I would have honestly been happy for a break even to just not lose my $3,000. But again, just gotta look at the risk slash reward. There was enough market time for me to be able to make that sale, as well as the $3,000 to $6,000 would not have affected me that much. Especially once I make an investment, it's like not out of my mind, but the money's gone. I don't expect it back because I can live without it. So if you can't live without the $3,000 to $6,000 that you're putting down, I would not suggest doing something like this. For example, I'm right now waiting on my Porsche 911 Targa 4S to come in. Again, I'm getting this at MSRP. I placed that order about 1.5 years ago, around the same time as the Corvette, a little bit prior. Do I like that car? Yes. Would I drive that car? Yes. However, there's just something about, I just can't turn down that $30,000 profit from buying it from MSRP to market value right now. And I feel like that's one of the cars, just because I know the production on it, that it might only go down even if the market recovers to around $5,000, just because Porsche is kind of rebranding itself to like a super luxury. I'm gonna just take a sip real fast of my Moscow Mule. Oh, there we go. Like a more luxury brand than what it used to be a couple of years ago. So again, you just have to be aware of the market. You have to know what cars you're willing to do this with, and you just kind of have to look at the risk slash reward ratio. But again, it was a super fun experience. And my honest opinions when driving the C8 Corvette, do I think it is worth $87,000? I'm going to be honest, I do not. The interior is cheap. It's just got a good engine. I gotta say that. It's got a cool design. However, literally it was brand new, right? The back, the trunk, when you open and close it, once it was closed, you could see I could fit my entire pinky on the left side, and I couldn't even fit a fingernail on the right side. So it was just done poorly. The interior, it was plasticky. I've had a Mercedes E-Class before, and it was suede on top, and you could feel it, like you knew it was suede. Same with my M8, it was purely suede. And on the Corvette, I could tell it's like they put about a millimeter just on top of some plastic stuff. Like you could tell it wasn't like good. So I don't think it's worth it. If anything, the 1LT is probably the best option for the price. If you can get a C8 for $60,000, I say that's not a bad deal. However, when it's in the 80 to 90 range, I mean, a 2017, 2018 Porsche 911, I would much rather get that than a brand new C8. So that's just my opinion. You can agree or disagree on that. However, this is just kind of how I made $15,000 in 1 hour flipping two C8 Corvettes, 3 LTs, convertibles. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it. If you got any questions on how to do this yourself, go ahead and you can just message me on Instagram. Try to respond to everyone about within a day or two, but sometimes it does take longer. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you guys shortly with another video. Peace out.